Hello, my name is Leif Clevenger, and today we're going to be taking a look at how to change the strings on your electric guitar. Now the first thing we're going to want to take a look at and think about is, why do you change the strings on your guitar? When you buy a guitar, it comes with strings on it that are perfectly good, so why change them? There's a number of reasons. First off being that they'll break. Strings eventually do break over time, and you're never going to want to keep your strings on forever. According to GuitarWorld.com, I looked at an article on there, they say that it's different for everybody, depending on how often you use your strings, and there's a lot of identifiers to know when you need to change your strings. First off, like I said, is breakage. If a string breaks, that means that it needs to be changed. Another thing that is possible is if your strings start to get discolored. Once they get old, they'll start to rust and look nasty and get dirt on them. That's another sign that you need to change them. Another issue is tuning issues. If you come across issues with tuning, that could be either your nut or the bridge, but most likely it's part of the strings. Another issue that you might come across is dull sound. If the strings start to sound bad, that could be another reason that it's time for them to change. So, in my opinion, changing the strings on your guitar is one of the most important maintenance things that a beginner can learn how to do. Now, as someone who's been playing guitar for 7 years, this is something that I've been doing for quite a while, and I would consider myself an expert on. To get started here, we're going to look at the materials required. So the first thing you're going to need is a guitar that needs new strings. Next thing you're going to need is new strings to put on the guitar. You'll need wire cutters to trim off the excess and cut off the old strings. And another thing that I found, Dawson's Guitar Code did an article about this. It's called a string winder. And this is something that I am trying for the first time today because they suggest it as a good thing for changing guitar strings. It can make changing your strings easier. And a tuner pedal. Tuner is good because it helps you keep your guitar in tune. I like to use the pedal because it's a lot more reliable and it's really durable and super easy to use. So the next thing we're going to want to look at is picking out the strings. So like I said, I've got these Ernie Ball regular Slinkies. One of the issues with guitar strings, a common misconception, is that there's a best guitar string out there, and there really isn't. There's a best guitar string for every different person. A quote I took from I Am Buzz, sorry I forgot to write down the website. There's no such thing as a best string. We do not believe that one individual string can suit every other instrument and be regarded as standard. So there's no such thing as a standard guitar string, as I said, but I choose to use these ones. A lot of people have different ideas of what they like best. Another common mistake that people use is a lot of people like to put really thick strings on because they think that will give their fingers more strength. Now, having finger strength is another common misconception, and L. Herman, in the Art of Shred book that I happen to own, he talks about how strength is completely unimportant when playing guitar. You're more focused on having precision, agility, and stamina. It's not about strength. So really, having a lighter string gauge is even better. I tend to use a little bit heavier strings just because I tune a little bit lower. But really, it comes down to personal preference. You just need to try out a bunch of different strings and decide what is best for you. Another thing to look at is material. I personally use nickel from Ernie Ball. And the reason I chose these ones, I found an article online that said that John Mayer uses these exact strings. According to jambuzz.com, they said that John Mayer uses these exact Ernie Ball regular Slinkies. So that's why I picked these ones. Another popular material is stainless steel. I have a book by bass player Alex Webster, and he says that stainless steel is better because it has a brighter and more poppy sound. But I prefer the sound of these, and I really like John Mayer, so that's why I chose these ones for this guitar today. All right, the next step we're going to go to is removing the old strings. So I'll have you come down here. So we're just going to do one for the sake of this video for time. So like I said, this new string winder is something that's new for me. So to start with this, you're going to take your string winder and you're going to put it on the string you want to remove, and you're going to twist it down. And the string winder makes it so you can twist this down way faster, and it gives you less cutting you're going to have to do in the end. So once you get it wound off, you're going to take the string and pull it off the tuning peg, and then you're going to cut this tip off with your wire cutters. And then bring this over here. Next thing, you're going to take the old string, stick it through the bottom right there. You can see that where it comes out. And once you've got it out, you'll pull it all the way out. And that hole where you took the string out is where you're going to put the next string in. So then I'm going to go to my pack of strings, We're gonna get out the new string here. And we're gonna do just like I said, we're gonna put it right up through where we took it out of. So we'll turn this thing back over. I took it out of this one right here. Whoops. And then we'll grab this. Let me grab my string winder, I dropped it. And then we're gonna take this through, bring it up to the top. And now you're gonna see on this tuning peg right here, there's a little hole right there in the center. You wanna line that up and you wanna stick the string right there through it. Some people like to wrap their strings around a couple times before, but I think that's pointless. So I just put it on there and we're gonna take our string winder. We're just gonna wind it up. Oops, we kind of missed it there. Just keep on winding. You gotta kind of hold it in place so it doesn't slip out. Once you've got it on there, oops, I don't have it on tight enough quite. All right, and then once we've got it on there, and the next step is going to be, oh, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier too. Once you've got your strings off of the guitar, if you were to have all the strings off and your fretboard was to be completely blank, that would be a really good time to clean off your fretboard. So I'll take this here, and you can kind of see if I spread the strings apart right there, you can see there's a little bit of dirt that accumulates on the fretboard. So I found a book by Jim Donahue about guitar repair and maintenance, and he talks about how once he has all the strings off the fretboard when he's changing his strings, rather than doing them one at a time like I'm doing for the sake of this video, you take all the strings off and put all the strings back on. Once all the strings are off, this is a really good opportunity for you to clean your fretboard and clean any other parts of the guitar that you can't access while you have the strings on the guitar. So he says lemon oil is really good for the wood of the fretboard, and if you use a high grit steel wool, you can use that to kind of brush off the frets on here, brush off the neck, and that'll clean your guitar fretboard right off. And then once you've done that, you put some lemon oil on there. Like I said, you'll put some lemon oil and that'll keep your fretboard nice and clean. So once you got the fretboard clean, once you've got all the new strings put back on, the last step is gonna be to trimming the edges. Well, second to last step actually. So once you've got it on here, you'll see the new string that we just put on right here is gonna have these little tips on the end. So we're gonna take those with our wire cutters from before and just cut them right off. And then when you get those, we'll throw those away in the discard. So then once we got all those, and your guitar, all the strings are clipped off, that is the point where you'll bust out the tuner pedal. Once you get the tuner pedal, you'll plug it right in, and that'll show you right on this display right here what note you're playing. And it's at this point that you'll tune the guitar by turning these either higher or lower in pitch to get your guitar to the right tune. Once you've got everything in tune, your guitar should sound good. It's at this point that we are done. You gotta make sure to clean up all your stuff. Keep your string winder and your wire cutters in a safe place where you can remember them. And I like to try to remember what kind of strings I have on the guitar when I've got them on there, so then next time when I'm changing, I either put the same strings on that I had before if I like them, or I put different strings on if I didn't happen to like the strings that I put on. I know that I like these strings, I use these ones a lot, so I know that I like these. At this point, once you've got all your new strings on, you've got all the edges trimmed up, you've got your guitar all up in tune, then you're all done and you're all ready to go.